to That Wrestling Podcast.
Welcome to That Wrestling Podcast. The good bad guys of Wrestling Podcast are back, talking all things of the week that was in professional wrestling. Joe, where the hell you been?
He's been in the queue for the Final Boss Funko Pop for 3.5 weeks.
It took a while, but I got some news.
Oh, share.
Oh yeah, I couldn't find it in the queue. I kept getting kicked out, but thank God something called Marketplace is there because I feel good about this. I got it. There it is. Yep. Officially. And I know you're thinking like it looks very similar, but the guy assured me it's 100% legit.
Yeah.
So I got it. Final Boss.
Wow.
WrestleMania XL right at the top, the official logo. It's legit. So
Congratulations.
I may have missed it, but it was worth it. $700. Best I ever spent.
Wow. Well done. Dedication and insanity. I was wondering about, and it pulled off for you. Those of you who are not watching on YouTube, it's worth going just to see what just happened.
I will send it to the social team. It will be on our social account by the end of the show. But yeah, I mean, this thing is legit. This is like, I couldn't be happier with my Final Boss.
Oh my God. All right. Well, job well done. We missed you. And congratulations. Mission accomplished.
Did you? Not all of you.
I didn't.
There you go, being unprofessional. I guess you were right. I do bring out the worst in you.
What you do, man. What you do.
Well, nevertheless, all four of us are here again. And we got a lot to talk about. And let's start off. We got to go back as far as we can possibly go, as Jay was in the house for SmackDown last Friday in Pittsburgh. How was that?
It was cool. You know, I get great seats, so I was on camera the whole night. What I didn't know is that when you are on camera and you have to go to the bathroom, WWE sends seat fillers.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I get back and I see people in my seats and I see a guy in the head. So I'm like, hey man, they're in my seat. Oh, there's seat fillers. They walk away. I take 2 steps into my seat and I slip because they spilled my drink.
Oh.
They knew they did it, but did not say, hey, man, we spilled your drink on accident. We'll get you another one. Nothing.
They just escaped the scene of the crime to let you figure it out.
And it kind of,
terrible.
It put me in a bit of a funk, really. I was just like, are you fucking kidding? At least own up to it. Give me the $27.50 that it costs for a soda at the paint can, and we'll be there. It's all good. What was interesting was Doc went with me, and he has never sat that close before. So he had a really great time. We were near the entrance ramp, or the entrance garage now, because that's what it basically looks like. It was great. LA Knight and AJ Styles should have went on last. Naomi and Bayley should have went on first. But luckily, Tiffany Stratton saved the main event.
As I predicted.
And what was cool was the shots of Damage Control and Jade and Bianca in the suites. They put all the Brat stalls up high so that no one would interfere, which was pretty cool. And man, like I said, spilled drink really put me in a funk. But and also it put me in a funk. The merch booth, not very great. It's a Cody shirt. It's a Roman shirt. It's an LA Knight shirt. It's a Pittsburgh World Order shirt. And that's it.
Oh, okay.
I don't even think they had the I was there shirt that they say exclusive to each city, but it's literally the same shirt. It says I was there.
Yeah.
The dates on the back. It's literally the same one that you get in Pittsburgh, you would in Lansing, that Kevin, you probably got or saw in Fort Wayne.
We saw it.
Yeah. You were at a house show Sunday, right?
Yeah, it was awesome. And one thing I will say, the merch booth, generic.
Yes.
Except they did have that shirt. But yeah, it was basically like one of everything, a toy belt. They had the Roman wrestling buddy that we did stay in line for, but then they ran out. They pulled one off the wall. Brett's like, oh, we should get him. We have Cody at home. They can have matches. And but the event itself, we always say live house shows, the best. I don't know the true amount of people that were there, but but I remember the previous one was like over 6,000 people, and this was just as packed. And I
I'm
remember
sure
somebody
they would-
tweeted like, "No reason why any Fort Wayne house show should have 6,000 people," but it was hot. I mean, right off the bat, it was SmackDown talent. Uh, it got one "This is awesome" chant that went on probably for like 2 straight minutes, the longest "This is awesome" chant I've ever been part of, and it was Damage Control versus Jade, Naomi, and Bianca. You would have told me that
Mania
match would have been
rematch,
just
yeah.
phenomenal. And the nice thing with house shows, as we all know, the matches go long. And Jade, everyone was just electrified with her in the ring, and she looked good, and she took a whooping, and she was selling for every single one of Damage Control. One really funny moment is when Kyrie, when she was walking and she stole Naomi's jacket and started like dancing in it, like the one that lights up. But it was LA Night country, though. I will say that.
Nice.
I can go into every single match. You guys know I can talk, but that crowd loved LA Night.
Was
Was that the main event?
It was LA Knight versus Solo in a grudge match.
Yes.
So they brought out kendo sticks, chairs, a table. The crowd was thirsty, and Brett's like, "I hope there's blood," and I'm like, "Okay, calm down."
Wow.
Like,
it rolls. Bert's on it.
I know.
A hardcore kick.
but no, it was fantastic. I usually comes around every 6 months. Maybe we'll get lucky. It's a perfect venue for an AEW show, to be perfectly honest. Like with the mini stage, 6,500 people. Like, it's surprised it hasn't come through.
And was he bummed about no Cody? Did you tell him that beforehand?
We did. I told him about a
yeah.
week because I didn't even know
I
the UK tour was going on.
Right.
So I didn't even know. And then when they online, it showed like the featured superstars and Cody wasn't there. And I told him, and he's like, "Ah." And I'm like, "Well, buddy, look who is there. You know, you have Bobby, you have Rey Mysterio. We're going to see Jade live." And he's like, "Okay." Like, the lineup was fantastic. It was basically similar to previous ones that we saw, just with the AOP and Karrion Kross. So like I don't even want to say the fillers, but like the interchangeables where it's like you have your top, level guys, and then you have a lot of medium level guys, but never saw Karrion Kross live, never saw AOP live. Like, it was fantastic. Fantastic show.
Very cool.
Wasn't very close. Like, we were a little bit further back. We didn't get this quote unquote, if it was live, we wouldn't have had seat fillers.
Yeah. Well, okay, man. I'm glad that
good.
turned out well. So let's see. So far, we've talked about what Joe's been up to. We talked about what Jay has been up to. We talked about Kevin has been up to, and I ain't got shit to talk about. So let's keep it moving, right? Let's quickly touch on AEW Dynasty. I'll start with you, Jay, because you got to do post show, which you can talk about. And I specifically want to talk about two things. Swerve is the new champ, kind of as we kind of suspected. So thoughts on that. But boy, the topic of conversation in the immediate of Will Ospreay, Bryan Danielson was, is this the greatest match ever? The greatest match in America? Not Japan. But tell me about the pod, like how that played out, and just those thoughts.
So I did the women's wrestling talk post show for Dynasty. Me and TK Trinidad, we kind of go way back. I think I talked about it. I was working for Company A. She was working for Company B in LA. And we literally switched employers at the exact same time. So it was kind of like a trade. So her and I have stayed in touch over the years. She started the women's wrestling talk. And if you've never heard it or watched it, it's kind of like Fightful. It's like a collective of podcasters and writers all coming together to do podcasts, whether it's a post show for TV or pay-per-views, or they do stuff about like Ring of Honor and Women of Wrestling. And they they get interviews with all the biggest names in women's wrestling. So it's a pretty awesome project that she's put together, a company, a collective, if you will. And I'm glad I'm getting the chance to be a part of it. And, I'll pop in from time to time, hopefully to do 1 or 2 a week, depending on availability and what they're talking about. But yeah, it was a good paper or podcast. And like I said on the podcast, AEW pay-per-views always deliver. There's only been one bad pay-per-view, at least in my opinion.
Yeah, that World's End one, I remember we were like, "Woo, let's keep it moving."
No, I don't. I'm not sure which one it was. I feel like it was like I feel like it was the November one, but I don't remember the name of that right now. But so as far as Danielson, who I like to call Brian Fragilson, and Will Ospreay, it was a really good match. It was a lot of fun, and at the time, I thought it was real. The ending, I thought that he got hurt because he's Fragilson, and Ospreay didn't see it, and when he hit him with that elbow, like I thought it was for real. And I was just like, whoa, okay. But it came out later that it was not for real. Workers work. And it was just a great pay-per-view overall. The ladder match between FTR and the Young Bucks was exactly what you would think it would be. Extreme insanity.
And that was a tough one. They had to follow Ospreay Danielson.
They did. And
they had to do all the stops to get the crowd still going.
Well, I found out later that the Bucks love that position. They love the match that you have to follow right before the main event, and that's what they were. So, Tony Storm and Thunder Rosa was a really good match. Thunder Rosa didn't have the face paint, which was cool. I think maybe this might be a new evolution of her character. Of course, the return of Jack Perry, which we'll get into that a little later.
Yep.
It was just a great pay-per-view. And Swerve's entrance coming out like Black Panther, which was amazing. And it was time. It was the moment. I'm glad nobody returned. I'm glad nobody debuted. I'm glad they gave Swerve the moment. It was a really great night of wrestling. I loved it. And you can check out Women's Wrestling Talk at WW Talk Pod on social media. I think I'll have to double check that, but Women's Wrestling Talk.
You can find it. Just search it in your pod.
Yeah, my bad.
I'll say this about Ospreay Danielson. It was an amazing match, no doubt about it. However, for me, and Kevin, Joe, whether you saw the match or not, I want you to chime in on this. I couldn't rank it as the greatest match ever because of the story leading up to it, where it was basically just, let's see who's the best. And knowing going into it, 99.9% Will Ospreay is going to win this match. And you compare that to just the emotion of, let's say, Roman Cody at Mania a couple weeks earlier. That one had me invested where I was standing up for half the time. Ospreay and Danielson technically was fantastic. There were some great holy shit moments. They're both fantastic. But for me, I needed more of an emotional aura to the match to have me consider it for that. How does that play out for you guys?
So does Shawn versus Undertaker WrestleMania 25 take away that match excitement because you knew Undertaker would win ahead of time? There was a foregone conclusion.
I didn't see it that way. I thought it was more than likely. In the midst
of the streak, so it's like,
yeah.
I see what you're saying, but it's like, just enjoy the match. I mean, it is what it is. It didn't feel like it was over 30 minutes long. That's what I consider a great match. Because like whenever I see these guys who are like, the dream match. And Brian, I completely agree with you you can't call it the greatest match when it doesn't have the greatest buildup. Like the match has to be the whole story before, during, and afterwards too. And I think what they're doing afterwards is making the match even better with what Ospreay did on Dynamite. So we can get into that later. But I was invested. It was great. It was exactly what I thought it would be. And there's really not will it probably be match of the year? It's gonna be hard to beat that one. But you don't know, it's only April.
Yep.
Yeah.
Was it Edge versus Orton
That was the greatest match ever. Yeah, I was gonna
That was the greatest
say it, but
wrestling match of all time.
Yeah. With apologies to Edge versus Orton.
I will say this. I think
2020 the greatest match of all time.
See,
I will say
2020 wasn't all bad. Yes,
I might
Kev, go ahead.
I might be the only one who didn't watch all 30 plus minutes of the match, but kudos to Jason with his review in the AEW post show. I felt like I got the 30-minute match in like a 6-minute rundown. So what I picked up is fast pace, heavy hitting, lots of near falls, craziness. But that's what we get from a lot of AEW matches without builds.
Correct.
Like it's either AEW, half the card is really nicely built and you're going to have a great match, or there's not much build and you're going to have a great match. That's like AEW's pay-per-views. But no, it is nice. I need to find it then because this is multiple reviews. I've heard you guys are saying it's all awesome live on the show. I need to find it.
It definitely lived up to the hype.
It's legit.
Yeah. No, 100%.
Not as legit as my final boss, but it's legit.
No doubt about it. All right, let's move on to some bummer news. And
we're talking about Dynamite already?
No. We'll we'll get to that. No, some people lost their jobs. You never like to see this. I think this broke on Friday night. Yeah, thank you, Jay. There it is. Jinder Mahal.
Dun, 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 dun.
Where did you get that?
Had it.
Of course he's had it. Yeah,
Be
don't.
Matt Young, this is for you, bro. Matt Young, this is for you, bro.
Did you get that? Did you get that from the same guy I got my Funko from, or what's going on?
No, you got that on the street of Detroit for $10 on the way.
That's what that
Michigan
looks
State, Penn State.
Right.
That's you losers, not me. This is 100% official. The fact that Jinder Mahal lost his job during SmackDown, it was terrible. And you know what was even worse? My friends, the people that know about my Jinder Mahal fandom, I had about 14 text messages during SmackDown that Jinder Mahal got released. And then you assholes, pointing to you, Brian, made a Leave the Memories Alone video. Then 5 days later, YouTube blocked it and took it down because they are hindering Jinder. And then Chris Van Vliet, he's like, oh, I have Jinder Mahal on the show. And I'm like, this is great. We're going to hear what's going on, why this happened. And he starts out by saying, this was actually recorded during.
Oh, no. Bummer.
But it was a great interview. And Jinder talks about how it came about with The Rock and how day one there was a former WWE champion returning. So, yeah, Jinder Mahal released again. And it sucks, man. Give this guy a chance. He did. He should have the title, even if it's for 1 week.
They did. They did give him a chance.
No, they didn't.
Do you not remember 2017? I'm
not talking about that, idiot. I'm talking about now. Right
He's
now.
He's going to come back
2024.
Even more jacked.
He talked about that on
That's impossible.
Is that possible?
It's impossible.
Insane.
Jack Jinder. I'm excited for the Jinder World Tour of GCW and TNA. I'm excited to see what he does.
Jericho Cruise.
Yeah, Jericho Cruise will be on there. It's going to be karaoke with the Maharaja. It's going to be amazing. Also, Veer and Sangha, the Hindu Sheer guys. So it was a bad day for the Indian descent wrestlers. For better or worse.
And now there's no Indian descent wrestlers on the roster. Mark released a few months ago. So
yeah, very curious there. Couple days later, Xia Li, Von Wagner,
another one of my guys. Remember back when I said Kyle O'Reilly and Von Wagner could be the new Shawn and Diesel? Well,
that was a thing for like a week.
I was wrong. I was so wrong. But Ron Wagner, another one, man. They tried and tried and tried with him, and unfortunately, it didn't work. And of course, now Robert Stone, former Robbie E, is now transitioned to a producer role at NXT until they find the next person. The only person he has represented that is still in WWE is Chelsea Green.
Yep. But she got released
And yeah,
and came back.
she came
Yeah.
back. So yeah.
I was bummed up. The one name I didn't mention yet, I think yesterday this broke or 2 days ago, Cameron Grimes.
Yeah.
Cameron Grimes, and it's not a complete surprise because I think I might have seen his last televised match. He jobbed to Braun Breaker on SmackDown after WrestleMania in about 45 seconds.
Wasn't he the first one eliminated from the Andre Battle Royal?
He might have been. Yeah.
That's usually like the GOAT. That's usually the sign.
Yeah. Yeah. You go back a couple of years, that run of him in NXT is like the To the Moon Millionaire, the stocks,
with LA Knight.
LA Knight,
battle.
$1 Million Man was involved in that. That was fantastic.
Yeah, but wasn't it fantastic because of LA Knight?
I don't know.
Well, you need two to tango. Joe.
I loved them
Dance.
both during that.
That was a lot of fun.
You have to remember,
that
LA
was fun.
Knight was not at the end of Promo Mania. I had to pay Cameron Grimes money to be at the end of Promo Mania.
I forgot about that. Yeah.
So
I was bummed about that. Joe, is there any of these that you're feeling like, oh, this was a big mistake? You all saw, it's not surprising to you.
It's surprising because I didn't think we were going to be getting any releases again because we just had them in December, November, something like that. So I didn't think there were going to be any. But are there any surprises? No, because we haven't seen them. And when we did, they were gone.
The only reason I'd say, if I was to say one that would have been on there, especially with the news of NXT building back up as like a third brand, not like a developmental, maybe could have brought some of them back if they needed the help.
They still might be able to come back. You never know.
Yeah. But I mean, like, even with the draft type, and the only name that comes to mind because he was actually on live TV would have been Cameron Grimes. But on paper, none of those guys surprised me.
Grimes
Go learn your craft, more come back.
Grimes had a very emotional post on Twitter.
Yeah.
And I guess
I didn't want to watch it.
Open today, and I haven't seen it or heard it. So
it was like Rockstar Spud.
Yes,
like that kind of.
I remember.
I didn't want to. I saw the screenshot of him with his shirt off, looking like he was crying, and I'm like, I don't want to watch that. Like, I feel bad for the guy. I don't need to watch it. Like, good luck, and everyone giving him love too, saying it'll be better, you'll be fine, you'll be fine, you'll be fine. Like, even Cardona was come get that money.
Yep.
Like, he'll be fine. He'll the indie scene is hot right now, and he can go anywhere. So, he doesn't have to go to AEW. He doesn't have to go to Impact. TNA. He can go anywhere.
Yeah,
I agree.
Like Brian said earlier, the GCW tour, the TNA tour, wherever he may roam.
Did you see him New Japan?
The Trevor Lee character that he was playing before had a bit of a Japan style.
Okay.
I could see it. Brian and I were texting about this. Like the Cameron Grimes dirtball character didn't really do it for me.
Not me either.
Grimes millionaire did it for me.
Mm-hmm. You just need a good character.
Yeah.
He's good in the ring.
Yes.
You just need something more. So yeah, hopefully better days ahead for all of them. Monday Night Raw, the big deal was the crowning of the new women's champion, of course, with Rhea Ripley relinquishing her title. It ends up being a battle royal, and Becky Lynch is the winner. Yeah. I'll go start off this one, guys. I'm not happy.
What?
Not happy.
Because you wanted Chelsea. Because you wanted Chelsea to win.
It's not so much about that. I just think that I'm more upset about the battle royal. Not that the battle royal wasn't entertaining. I thought that is the least creative, drama-filled way to crown a champion. That is just, I don't know, throw them all in the ring.
But Brian,
and let's see remember my Alabama man? Remember him from a couple weeks ago?
Yes, I remember him.
Hear what Alabama man has to say about this.
Honey, they put them all in there, and they go over the top rope, 2 feet touch the floor, new champ. Alabama man likes it. I personally we just watched on SmackDown 2 weeks of triple threat to get one guy, triple threat to get another guy, and then a number one contender. I didn't like it. I thought there could have been something a lot more creative they could have done.
Brian, they're about to do the King and Queen of the Ring tournament.
Mm-hmm.
You can't have another tournament. You can't have back-to-back tournaments that close. This is
Who says you
WWE
can't have tournaments back to back?
Some would say.
because
Time AEW had 2 tournaments simultaneously. It's called the Owen Hart Intercontinental Memorial Wimbledon Championship Tournament. A-hole.
okay, but there'd be 3 tournaments. There would have been the Women's Championship, the Queen of the Ring, and the King of the too many tournaments. This is not Tony Mint time. Let Tony do that.
They try to copy what we do at AEW, and it never works. So, I'm not surprised that they just threw them all in a battle royal and said, hey, yeah, let's do the most predictable win possible. Yeah, she was on vacation. Yeah, and now she's the champ. Yeah. So, I'm Tony Time. I gotta go. Bye.
No, I think I like what you're saying, Joe. I think if the draft wasn't before the Queen of the Ring tournament, crowning the champion, giving her the crown and the title could make sense. They need to do something quick with this draft, especially with the rules of champions aren't eligible for drafting. Like, they need to do something quick. Maybe I would even prefer a triple threat match, Nia versus Liv versus Becky, the last 3 competitors and emotional ties, because there's a lot of filler women in that match. Like,
would you have rather had it been the Queen of the Ring tournament?
Say it again.
Would you have rather had the Queen of the Ring be the new champion and give some legitimacy to the Queen of the Ring, since there's only been one?
No, 100%. But with the draft, they need to crown some champion.
They had to do it.
They had to. Jay, play the womp womp, please. I don't know. I was bored. You just got whooped by not by Nye. Well, actually, you got whooped by Nye a lot.
You had been, yeah.
I wish it was Liv. I wish it was Liv.
You can't get a boner.
I didn't like that Becky won. Okay. I didn't like it how afterwards she said, oh, my husband just had surgery. I left the day he had surgery. Oh, I'm leaving my kid for 8 days to win the belt. No, you were given the belt because they thought you were the only one deserving. Like, I
disagree.
Say what?
I disagree with you.
But I think the best thing with Becky was her tweet where it said, like, forever the runner-up for Liv. I thought that was fantastic. I just feel that, I don't know.
So I didn't mind the idea of a battle royal. I didn't like the Becky won. I feel like at a battle royal, there's so many different people involved. I think it was 14. Let Chelsea win. Let Shayna, Zoe, Piper, to then have Chelsea get all bent out of there's so many things they could have done instead of just going with old reliable. I'm glad they didn't give it to Liv Morgan. I'm glad they didn't give it to Nia Jax. I wish they wouldn't have given it to Becky Lynch. Maxine would have been fun for a week.
That was the best Max, and that was her best outing in any match.
So
ever.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, she'll probably hold the title till Rhea comes back. I wouldn't be surprised if that's
no, I don't think so.
I don't be surprised if that. See, Joe, you come back after being 3 weeks waiting around for a stupid toy, and you're unprofessional. I was literally mid-sentence, and you just cut me off and threw off my whole statement. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Man, that's something to say.
I'll say one more gripe, and then I'll be nice to the ladies. I would have preferred if no one had an entrance music to have more time for that match, because when that match started, the first person that came out, it was 30 minutes when Becky was doing her walkthrough in the back, which was very cool. The walkthrough in the back and talking and kind of like, this is your first ever attempt. That was cool. It was very nice production in the back. But it would have been a 30-minute match if they would have just paraded out. You know what I mean? But I think it ended up being like 20 minutes. That was a big gripe. I feel like 10 extra minutes would have been pretty cool.
You texted that you were excited.
Yeah.
And then you
I
were
was.
like, maybe not.
I do. Like when you know it's the last match, and you're like, man, we're gonna get some good time. And then from the
Yeah.
point where it's actually starting to the point where you actually hear the ding, 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 a third of that time is automatically going to be gone. My excitement level, I'm always like, yes, it's going to be awesome. But it exceeded my expectations overall for the match. But
Yeah, I was left with a womp womp. But onward it goes. We have another new champ too in NXT. Trick Williams. He had an interesting stipulation of, win the title or leave NXT, which normally you go, okay, well, it's gonna be he wins the title. But with the draft coming up, I thought, well, maybe there's a chance that he's gonna lose and be drafted. So there was some doubt in my mind there. Guys, what do you think? Is he the man to kind of carry the NXT brand for a while? He's clearly been on a upswing of popularity these last couple of months.
He is the right person right now. I feel like maybe he should go to the main roster, because if Carmelo goes to the main roster, he's going to get lost. He's 5'10". He's great, but he's 5'10".
Yeah.
Trick going would have made a lot of sense, but let him be champ for, 4 or 5 months, 6 months. Fuck, let him have it for a year. Because odds are Carmelo, Braun, Dragunov, all the established talent are going to go in the draft somewhere.
Yeah, agree.
Let him be that bridge between those guys and the new young crop. And then when the new young crop guys get there, Trick can lose the title and go and get called up to the main roster.
Love it. Joe? Trick
He's
Williams?
a man. He's a man in NXT. Like Jason said, all those guys are going to be, and they're going to be called up. You need someone who's legit, who already has a crowd behind them, and is the one who can lead them to the next year. And remember, they're going to network television this year.
Yeah.
You need somebody who the crowd is behind, and they're behind him in the performance center, and they're behind him in live events. So he's the man this year, and I want him to hold the belt for the entire year. I don't want him to lose it until a year from now when there's another draft, and he hands it over to the next guy who's going to be leading the brand, and he gets called up. Because when he gets called up after a year of being a dominant champ, and that's what I want. I want dominance from this guy. A star is born for the main roster.
Yeah,
and he's a
Triple H.
monster. And he's a monster.
He's a big guy.
100%. And especially with some main roster talent going to go to NXT, he's just going to build himself up as a more respected star, not just NXT champion. You are one of the big 3 champions.
I want him dominant.
Bingo. But like, say Shinsuke goes there, boom, having matches against Shinsuke on a regular, awesome. Ivar.
Yes,
right?
Ivar.
He's flirted with NXT. Karrion Kross, he's appeared in NXT. There's a lot of really good developmental talent that he can go against, and then there's a lot of established talent that he can go against. That's the nice thing with Trick. He looks like $1 million.
Yes.
He talks like $1 million. He wrestles like
Matt Cardona.
But the crowd's behind him.
Well, there's some tricks for him to whoop there. So
yeah,
they Triple H retweeted, I saw a camera angle from like a little bit above like the upper part of the
arena
performance center. Yeah, it was like the camera was shaking because people showed
that on the bump on Wednesday.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool. So yeah, Trick, maybe he'll be the champ at NXT, like you said, Joe, going to network TV, going to the I believe the UPN this fall. If I'm
the
not
WUPN WC.
It's the WB.
Hello, my baby.
Followed by Gossip Girl.
By the way, guys, I missed something very, very important on Raw that we need to talk about. Burger after burger.
Yes.
After
Common
burger.
sense Drew strikes
Holy
again.
shit.
Hold on. Before you go any further, Kevin, Joe, Do you know about Brian's radio work when he was in college?
I know his name was Burger because I saw his ID
That's right.
badge or something like that when he had long curly hair.
Oh my
Yeah.
God, there's a flashback. Yeah, I had that. Yeah, that I mean, I said, "Holy shit!" I mean, what do you say to that? Jay, you and I were last week and talking about there was even some body shaming online and the fact that he pulled it off. I mean, guys, Sheamus laughed for like 30 seconds himself. He's like, "God damn, that was good."
It
But
was,
Sheamus looks great. I don't care.
Oh,
what
of
anyone
course,
says.
he's not as cut as he was, but
What-
hey, he's like I think like 45, 46 too. He's old.
but even said like he he wasn't supposed to come back till after the draft, but he's
Right.
not wearing the shorts after 1 week. He's
We're
back
back
to like
tights.
the undies.
Went back to-
Whatever. I'm just happy for the fact that he brought back Lobster Head.
Lobster Head is back. Too many lines.
Too many lines.
Yeah, I had to shout that out. God damn, that was funny. All right, so then let's move on to Dynamite before we're going to get to our own draft in just a few minutes. The big hullabaloo from Dynamite. Jack Perry comes out at the end. He calls out Tony Khan, says, "Let's put the past behind us. I want best for AEW. It's all I wanted." And he gives a little look to the camera while he hugs TK, and he ends up sucker punching him, which leads to, of course, the Elite coming out. And what are they calling that, like, spike pile driver? They got a name for
It's
it.
the TK driver now. It's
The
literally
TK driver.
TK driver.
There you go.
It was the Meltzer driver for
Meltzer driver. Thank you. I knew it wasn't that anymore. So yeah, TK is laid out. He the roster eventually comes out. You know, they're not there to help in the moment.
No. It's the Rampage roster.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right off the
Dante
bat, he's
It wasn't Dynamite, wasn't Collision. It was the Rampage roster. It was the Action Andretti's.
Yep.
Yeah, no, Jericho
the-
wasn't out.
No.
It was the NWO B
Swerve
team.
wasn't out. Yeah, no. Even Shad Khan, his dad came out, which I know people made a big deal about. The billionaire dad of Tony. Jay, I know you were a fan of this. This is something, right? This is something going on here.
You know, when they said that they agreed to meet in the ring, I'm like, oh no. Tony Khan with a live mic.
Right.
I was like, this ain't gonna be pretty. But the way they did it, you know, Jack Perry, he looks the part of a bad guy. You know, no more dumb music, no more, you know, leopard print tights. And then as it was happening, I'm like, there is no way this is going to happen. And then it happened. And I was like, I'm here for it. I think this is a good idea. Now,
Me too.
my original thought was, okay, this erases Tony Khan. The EVPs are now in charge of AEW. They're running the show for the foreseeable future. And then maybe down the road, Tony shows up with an MJF, Britt Baker, Sammy Guevara, like the rest of the pillars.
Yeah. Okay. Yep.
And then
Darby.
I was like, okay, today, it is Thursday night. A photo showed up of Tony Khan doing press for the NFL draft, wearing a neck brace. Yes, he's all in. I'm all in.
Too. That's awesome. That's dedication. The guy just got his ass kicked last night by 4 dudes. And here he is. Back at work. Trying to make a team that will suck forever, but he's trying to get a neck brace. He's the fucking man. I'm Coney Ton. I gotta go. Bye.
Cody hasn't been this fired up since that rookie Adam Copeland's debut. That was some passion from Cody. Wow. What'd you think, Kev? What'd you think of how this went down?
I thought it worked the best because of the intimate location. That's
Oh,
why.
okay. Daly's place.
It was small.
Well,
It
Daly's
felt
place.
nice.
That's their home field.
That,
The home
no,
field,
but that's-
yeah. Good
that's
point.
their
I
home
think if it
field.
would have been, I think that's probably why Tony looked confident and he walked out, didn't say anything, just did like a few times, like his weird smile. Like that was, I feel like Jack looked like $1,000,000. Talks, beard, awesome. Head nod, smile, so great. I think I might have texted this. I was just like, man, Tony is just like a big limp noodle.
Yeah.
like I'm surprised. Like he just looks so fragile. Like I
Yes.
feel like you could like. I'm surprised you didn't break a bone falling after the mic shot in the gut, like something like, or like went like a weird like whimper. Like I loved it. I would take Tony getting beat up, not say anything every week.
No,
For
not
a
every
couple
week.
weeks.
It
I
needs to
would.
be a once every 2 year thing, because if it happens too
Agreed.
much, it's going to lose its luster. This
He
is
has said before that he does not want to be an on-screen character, and obviously, plans change.
this is
But
how you
that's what made it. That's what made last night, something that we're talking about. I think.
you write him off now for a while. Let the EVPs just run the show as if they are actually running the show.
So let me ask you this. So Jack Perry has to be about what? Probably about 5'10", right?
What's that
I'd say if that.
So he's
yeah, I was
about-
thinking
I'd say
5'9",
5'8".
5'8". Yeah.
2/3 the size of Carmelo. Do you think Carmelo will get lost on the main roster because he won't have a support system then, Jay? Like Jack Perry will have.
Wait.
the elite-
You know Carmelo's barely 6 feet tall.
No, but I'm saying they're both shorter guys
Different.
compared to
It's
majority
different.
of the locker.
But they're different.
All the
companies.
wrestlers in AEW are barely 6 feet tall.
That is true.
Yeah.
That is true. That is true.
It's a super indie.
That is true.
I think RVD called them when they came out all petite wrestling. So like,
Oh,
and he's there.
Yeah.
Well, shout out to RVD the other day, by the way, on 420.
He did.
In his singlet
Just on
at
Collision.
420. And he was in like a up in smoke match or something.
Living the gimmick.
Something crazy. I never
It's
watched
not a
it
gimmick for him,
but I
yeah.
did.
Here's my only concern about Dynamite. Yeah, the last segment was fine. They just followed a great pay-per-view. Why can't they bring half of that to their weekly show? Why does their weekly show have to be such a nosedive of entertainment? But the pay-per-views are amazing.
I think this.
I don't get it. I
So
don't get it.
So here's
It
what's
bothers me. That's what bothers me about the company, because now we got to deal with the Jericho Learning Tree, which is the Jericho Appreciation
Love it.
Society all over again.
Not really.
It's not,
No,
but now they got Big Bill instead of Jake Hager.
different. Anyway,
It's
my
as
wife
different
did not
as changing
listen to this
Coke's
show.
recipe.
my wife does not listen to this show, but because I did the post show the other night, she gave it a listen. And I got a text, and it says, "You don't like all of AEW shows," because on the podcast I had mentioned I love all the pay-per-views. And I said, I love the pay-per-views. The TV is questionable at times.
Correct. That's
Oh, yeah. Where do we want to go? Do we want to go Jericho? Do we want to go? I don't even know where I kind of lost track because Joe's like,
yeah. Honestly,
Swerve?
guys,
Like
that
Swerve was like the first match, like he had his big moment, and then he has to be the curtain jerker the next night for nothing.
they opened the show with the best friends.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's what I did not get. Now I want Trent to be in the Blackpool Combat Club. Angry Trent is BCC quality, 100%. Kev, don't you remember on the cruise, me, you, and John were talking about
Yeah.
Trent?
And he looks he's jacked.
Yes. Swerve, yes. He had a great match with Fletcher, but that should have been the opener instead of the best friends nonsense. And then there's Chris Jericho. The guy just is amazing. What a storyteller. I think we all would be better people getting sucked into the Jericho vortex from time to time and sitting under the learning tree of Chris Jericho. I think we would all be better people for that.
Didn't that logo and background that was behind him kind of look like the Bloodline family tree?
I didn't see it.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh my god. Okay, never mind. We're doing that right now, and I'm bringing the unprofessionalism out of Jason, but I'm just gonna flat out say it. I want Dynamite to be half as good as the pay-per-views. And they're not.
On that,
Week
yeah.
after week, it's a chore to get through. And then they have a pay-per-view, and you mentioned it earlier, Brian. You said, oh, they don't have you don't have the build. That's what Dynamite's for.
Correct.
And they fail week after week after week. And then it's like, why would people buy the pay-per-views if the weekly show is garbage? And then we have to find out later that the pay-per-view was amazing, but it's not worth the gamble when they're not giving me something to invest in. That's why I don't buy the pay-per-views, because week after week, they are not delivering. And
But
then
Joe,
there's a pay-per-view and it's amazing. And it's like, crap, I got to look it up another time. But I'm not going to invest when they're not making me invest week after week.
I think you should. What's the next pay-per-view is Double or Nothing.
Correct.
Yeah.
End of May. Yep.
I think you should buy it.
Which it will probably be amazing, but like this.
All right. Okay. All right. We'll do one better. I want you to agree to buy the pay-per-view.
And what?
And
if I'm not,
if you do not like it, I will give you your $50 back.
Fine.
That's
I
a
don't need
no
the
risk
$50,
deal for
but
Joe.
it's a no risk deal. But
But if
I'll
you
enjoy
liked it, then I'm not. And you can't say you don't like it just so I give you $50.
I'm not. You know. Okay, Jason. We may not get along all the
And
time.
the other
but
two are laughing, so they know you're capable of that. So
no, Jason. You
Naughty,
know, like we
Naughty.
may argue a lot, but you know that I'm always honest with you. You know that I'm always legit.
okay, that's a deal.
All right,
When the naughty comes out, you know.
Naughty, Joe. Don't no shenanigans. Yeah, I know you could. Everybody could use $50, man. You could go, take your family out for a
spent
meal.
100 on that legit Final Boss Funko.
700. Get it right.
Oh, 7?
I'm a freaking baller.
Okay.
Boom.
Buy a few more.
Yeah, not so Slim Shady at Marketplace freaking hooked me up.
Gotcha.
Awesome.
Nice.
We'll have to get him on the podcast.
Sorry, excuse me.
Who's the guy you ran into in Fort Wayne that posted about you?
Yeah, Kevin. Who was that?
Oh yeah,
He's a fan of the podcast.
Sorry, my
Someone
sinuses
was
are going
excited
crazy.
to see you in public. I'm curious.
One,
So unusual.
fellow podcaster.
Did you know him?
Dietrich.
Did you know him prior?
I know of, so I've seen him comment on a lot of Brian's stuff before, and I'd say, on Life Gets Crazy, I don't go on the socials every day, all day, every day, all day, every day, all day. But the day of the show, I go on there and I'm like, I want to post a picture of Brett and I, and he posts, he's going to the show, and Brian puts, hey, Kevin, TWP's going to the show. I saw it and I was like, boom, posted a pic, and me and him started chatting, and I messaged, I was like, hey, let's meet up. Let's say hi, man. And let's get a pic. And then we just chatted. And I was like, hey, my network of wrestling, community in Fort Wayne is lacking. And I mentioned, he's a big fan of wrestling, has his own podcast. He writes for several things as well. And I mentioned, hey, got to come and do the picks. And he even said, he's like, man, you're the second guy on that podcast to mention that. Now, Brian's been asking me to be the picks for a little bit too.
We got to do it. Yep.
It's just, it's nice, socializing on social media, meeting in face to face, and all over the beautiful thing of professional wrestling.
Awesome. No worries. All right, let's get to the draft, and we're talking about our own draft here because, of course, Friday night the WWE draft starts on SmackDown and continues on Monday. So we're just gonna have some fun. Really, what we're doing, we're doing predictions of the draft. We're each gonna go. I think we said we're gonna do 10 rounds, and we're gonna try to predict, where these WWE and NXT talents are going to end up. And before we get started, this gentleman, of course, has a busy night. But actually, that's not who I'm talking about. I'm talking about, of course, Mel Kiper. So since Mel Kiper, being the draft guru, he's busy. He's down in Detroit tonight, right down the road from me. We can't get him. But last year, this man made his premiere on the draft episode of That Wrestling Podcast. And he's back again to give his insights on all the draft picks for this year. So if you're new to the pod, You're going to enjoy this. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the pod our TWP draft expert, Mel Kipper. Mel, can you give us a little bit of a rundown of what to expect for this year's draft?
Thanks, guys. I'm so glad to be back for the 2024 TWP draft. This is my time to shine. So each of you will be drafting wrestlers from Raw, SmackDown, and NXT. It's going to be interesting what shows the wrestlers will end up on. Where will Roman Reigns end up? What about Bianca Belair? And don't forget about Jinder Mahal, Cameron Grimes, and Von Wagner. Why are you looking at me like that? So good luck, Brian, Jason, and Kevin, and Joe. Hey, is Joe here or not? I'm about to give him a nickname. No Show. Get it? No Show Joe. Don't be mad, Joe. That's nicer than the nickname I gave Todd McShay. Bitch boy. Okay, let's start the draft. Back to you in the TWP War Room.
Thank you, Mel. Great to have you back. That is a great setup for
Isn't McShay, is McShay a Penn State guy? Didn't he go to Penn State?
I don't know. I don't
did.
think so. That'd be news to
Looks
me.
like he went to Penn State.
So who's on the clock?
I'm not sure. I think we decided that I would go first. Is that
The
correct?
clock started. You have 10 seconds.
Oh God!
Yeah,
Good
so
God Almighty!
We are going to try to get within 30 seconds. We want to try to get these picks in because there's 40 of them that are about to be picked. So,
Exactly.
Brian, you are officially on the clock.
All right, let's start things off with a guy. I said it, I think, about a week or so ago. Right now, he's my wrestler of the year. He's just been on fire for the last 6 months. He will stay on Monday Night Raw, one Drew McIntyre.
Ooh.
And before we get to our next pick, looks like Mel Kipper has a little thing to chime in about the Scottish psychopath, Drew McIntyre. Let's turn it back over to Mel to hear what he has to say.
Well, cry me a river. CM Punk is off the board. Punk.
No, he's not. How dare you, Mel? What are you talking about? CM Punk is not off the board. Let's try this again here. A little technical difficulty with Mel. Here he goes. All right, Mel. No, I picked Drew McIntyre. What do you got for us?
Well, you know Drew McIntyre is having a hell of a year. Common Sense Drew may be my favorite wrestler of 2024. Ha ha ha. Sorry about that. His work on the mic, on social media, and in the ring are second to none. Ha 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 ha. We'll have to see if Drew does re-sign with ha ha ha. Sorry, I just can't stop thinking about Burger. After burger, after burger, after burger. Ha ha ha. Back to you in the TWP War Room.
All right, not exactly a great breakdown of all things Drew McIntyre, but as we said, we like that burger after burger line. Thank you, Mel. Well, I'm sure we'll get back to you in a little bit. All right, Drew McIntyre's off the board. Who goes next?
Second pick of the first round to Monday Night Raw, Jade Cargill.
Wow.
That's a big spot. Just, of course, making her debut just a little bit ago over on SmackDown. And
Jay, I really thought you were going to take Pretty Deadly again at number one.
I remember that.
I got it right.
They're still on the board. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So with Jade going to Raw going to Netflix, she can go back to saying cut the shit.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that is true. All right, fabulous. Jade Cargill is off the board. A lot of talent there. Who is next?
Oh,
that would be me, and I'm going to say CM Punk Monday Night Raw.
All right, CM Punk is on Monday Night Raw. Guys, you're not going to believe this, but Mel Kipper has thoughts on CM Punk. Shocking as that may
Does
be.
he have prep for everybody on the roster? Because we don't want to make this podcast 7.5 hours.
No, I don't think so. Mel has a select few that I know he's done his research on. So
okay.
Let's hear what he has to say about one CM Punk. Where's Punk going to, Joe?
Raw.
Staying on Monday Night Raw. All right, thank you very much. All right, Mel, CM Punk to Raw. What's your thoughts?
Well, cry me a river. CM Punk is off the board. Punk made his shocking return to WWE at Survivor Series. About the only thing more shocking than CM Punk's WWE return was the time I caught Roger Goodell admitting the NFL intentionally screws the Detroit Lions. Sorry, Kevin and Joe. Ha ha. Punk is an undeniable talent, but he does have a long history of injuries. You have to wonder at his age if he can still put it together for one last run. It's a high-risk, high-reward situation. And even though his AEW run ended bad, at least we got the Larry versus Omega shirt right, Jason. CM Punk is off the board. Back to you in the TWP War Room.
Thank you, Mel. Yes, CM Punk, very high risk, high reward pick as he remains on Monday Night Raw.
Good, Kevin.
Yep, I'll keep it quick. 5 seconds. Jey Uso, Raw. First round done.
All right.
Wow. Let's go to Mel Kipper. He's got thoughts on Jey Uso. He does.
Oh, he does.
That's just how it has to be.
I
Mel,
love it.
what do we got about Jey Uso? What are the Uso brothers there? Ending up round one. Go give us your thoughts here, my friend.
Well, you know, Jey Uso, former member of the Bloodline and son of the legend Rikishi. Man, Rikishi had huge dumper, didn't he? Biggest butt I've ever scouted. Well, it's either him or Refrigerator Perry. Anyways, Jey has really come into his own as a singles wrestler. Just don't ever mention his Mania match with Jimmy again, okay? Sheesh. Hey, by the way, Jey's dad, Rikishi's butt, had more dimples than a Titleist golf ball. Jey has established himself as a top singles star, and you have to figure he will be wearing gold around his waist very soon. Man, what a fat ass on Rikishi. But I have to admit, I kind of like it. Yeet. Back to you in the TWP War Room. Yeet.
Between
Wow.
Yeet.
Mel, again, with just
Oh
way
my.
too much information that we
Oh my.
needed to know.
So that
About
first
one
round
Jey
took
Uso.
8 minutes.
My
Yeah,
goodness.
God,
Let's
this is
move to
gonna be
round
forever.
two. All right. Let's see. How about I will go with let's
Are you getting
go.
a video queued up?
No. We're gonna go with the New Day, which is
Oh.
Xavier and Kofi. We're gonna stick them together. We're gonna move them over to SmackDown so they can have a nice little feud with A-Town Down Under. Let's go to Mel
You're up,
Kipper
Jason.
with his thoughts. Dude, I'm just kidding. Mel's taking a break.
To NXT, the Final Testament.
Good call.
They just showed up there, right? Just like a week or two ago. So
They need that.
let's make that their home. I love
And then
it.
hopefully they'll come back to the main roster with another name because it's dumb.
All right.
To SmackDown, Carmelo Hayes.
Oh, yes. Coming up from NXT, Carmelo to SmackDown. Kev?
I'm going to go Dragunov Monday Night Raw.
Very good choice. Of course, just losing the NXT championship. Former NXT champion Ilya Dragunov over to Monday Night Raw. I will go here as we kick off round number 3. We're going to go with Judgment Day, which is Dom, Finn, JD, and Rhea. Not R-Truth. He's not in Judgment Day. They're going to stay on Monday Night Raw.
Okay. To SmackDown, Roman Reigns.
That's a good thought.
SmackDown going to USA in October.
Mhm.
USA will have Raw and SmackDown for about 4 months. And they want to have as many stars on that roster as possible. Roman Reigns to SmackDown.
To Monday Night Raw, Jimmy Uso.
All right. Okay. So Jimmy in the worlds there of Jay and Jay's pick and your pick, Joe, they are on different brands. Okay. So Jimmy gets away from kind of what's going on with current bloodline stuff too. Okay. Interesting.
Kev?
I'm going that is a rip. I'm going Tiffany Stratton staying on SmackDown.
All right. Tiffany has made a big impression so far, as we talked about earlier, interrupting the Bayley and Naomi match. Let us go to Mel Kipper. He does have something to say about Tiffany Stratton. Tiffy time. Yes, that's indeed right. Mel, over to you with thoughts on Tiffany Stratton.
Well, you know, when you talk about a blue chip prospect, you're talking about Tiffany Stratton. She has that college athlete pedigree in gymnastics. She has the look. She has the in-ring ability. She is the true total package. No disrespect to the total package of Lex Luger, but it's Tiffy time. And let me tell you guys, when I see Tiffany on my screen, it's more like Stiffy time at the Kipper house, if you know what I mean. He. Back to you in the TDUP war room.
Actually funny.
That was good. That was good.
No, I mean, I don't know. He's like way too much personal information that we need for this show. So we'll have a talk with him after the draft is over. All right.
For going to SmackDown from Chase University.
Oh, Brian is to go.
Thea Hale.
Hold on.
It's actually Brian's turn.
Don't jump my pick. Don't jump my pick. I'm next.
I thought whatever.
Going to SmackDown from NXT.
Chase
Chase University.
Is it?
Andre Chase, Duke Hudson, and Thea Hale. Boom!
You asshole.
Yeah,
You stole his pick.
stole it. Well, he tried to steal mine. I got it back.
We're gonna get flagged by YouTube due to copyrights.
Never.
Party. For SmackDown, Liv Morgan.
Nice pick.
I like that idea.
Naomi.
Okay, nice change of scenery for Naomi. All right, let's see. So what round are we on now? Oh, it's Kevin's turn. All right, don't let me say chase you again. All right,
don't hinder. Oh, wait, don't say that. Right, sorry.
I'm going to switch it up a little bit. Put it a little bit earlier, but I love what Jade, Naomi, and Bianca are doing. So I'm going to put Bianca Monday Night Raw as well.
Wow. Okay.
It's a big move. Love it. All right, now on to me officially.
Yes.
Correct. All right, Nia Jax is going to SmackDown. That's a good opportunity for her to take the title from Bayley.
Chelsea Green to NXT.
No, that's a terrible pick. How dare you?
You're a terrible pick, Joe. Move on.
On the network TV there, Joe. Come on.
Fine. Pretty Deadly to NXT.
That's a good pick. That's a good spot for them. Kev?
Nakamura, NXT.
Yes.
Love it. Get that former glory back.
What round did we just finish, Kev?
That was round number 5.
5. All right, we're on to number 6
halfway
here.
There.
Let's keep Ivar down in NXT. Ivar has been he's the banger after banger guy right now, and he can continue to do that down on the white and yellow brand.
He has 2 shirts on shop. I bought them both. That's how awesome he is. Randy Orton to SmackDown.
Nice.
All right, Randy remains on SmackDown. Love it.
Braun Breaker, SmackDown.
Also remaining on SmackDown. Kev?
LA Knight, Monday Night Raw.
Yeah, had some thought about that, and I think that is a really good pick. All right, I will go with. I just had you in my mind.
Chelsea Green.
Chelsea Green is off the board.
No, I was saying I was predicting who was in your mind.
Oh, maybe so. Let's go with the newly reinvented Chad Gable remaining on Monday Night Raw.
The Creed brothers back to NXT.
Oh, interesting.
Oh.
All right. Now this one I'm not sure. Does Lashley and the Street Profits count as one team?
You can do that, I think. One
right,
faction.
They go to Raw. Lashley and the Street Profits, Monday Night Raw.
What is it? The
Pride.
The Pride. Yeah.
Allegedly. They've never been that, but they have a shirt that they wear that says that. Kind of weird.
Well, Lashley and the Street Profits, Monday Night Raw.
I'm gonna go
Jason's counting, Kevin.
No. We're gonna go Sheamus, Monday Night Raw.
Okay. All right. Sheamus remains on Monday Night Raw. Let's go with Logan Paul.
He's a champion already.
He's a champion. You can't draft him.
My mistake. I was
That's
thinking
your
it was
John
just
Cena. You just lost. You just
lost
a
my
pick.
pick. All right, that's
No,
fair,
Brian,
fair
no,
is
no,
fair.
no. We're
No,
teasing.
he lost his pick. It was
No,
All right.
I'll say he doesn't lose his pick.
Kevin Owens
I
goes
say
back
that.
to Monday Night Raw. He said, "Fuck you for trading me last year. I'm back." Kevin Owens Monday Night Raw.
Seth Rollins to NXT.
Oh, come on.
Wow. Really? Okay.
Broadcast
He's reaching that
television.
up.
Gotta
For-
get ratings.
For rehab
Yeah.
in the PC.
Charlotte Flair stays on SmackDown
Yeah, I was wondering about what we were going to do with her. Okay.
So if you want
because
to get
it's
really
on Friday.
technical, I'm
It's on
pretty
Friday
sure.
night, and you need something big for that night, and it'll be like teasing her return.
So if we want to get really technical, I don't think she's draft eligible because she's hurt. Like Jimmy's not draft eligible.
We're
So
too far
Basically,
down the
everyone I'm
road, I think,
drafting is
Kev.
not eligible. I don't care.
It's all good. It's all good, Kev.
I'm gonna go Logan Paul. We'll go.
Did you both lost your pick this round, idiots? Mel, what do you think of that?
We'll go. We'll go. LWO SmackDown.
LW
Have a lot of
remaining
changing, okay.
on SmackDown. What round are we on now, guys?
8. No, 9.
This is 9, so we have
Number
2 more
9.
rounds left.
AJ Styles will continue on SmackDown. We'll get to him in Backlash next week against Cody, and I think that'll continue a little bit longer.
You gonna take the rest of the bloodline, Jay? No.
I'm gonna go Otis to NXT.
I like that.
Otis to NXT.
I like
Okay.
it. Something's going on with the Academy. I don't know.
I am going to go with Natalia to Raw.
Talia to Raw. Okay.
Why
so
not?
She remains. Yep. So you gotta
No,
go
she's
somewhere.
on SmackDown, so she's going to Raw.
Is she?
Switches every draft.
I can't keep up. Yes.
We'll go.
All right, Kev.
We'll go. DIY SmackDown.
DIY to SmackDown. Okay. I haven't really, other than my, completely out of nowhere Chase U call up pick. I'm so glad I thought of that. Let's go with Lyra Valkyria, former NXT Women's Champion. Let's put her on Monday Night Raw.
Shut your bitch ass.
Thank you, Rocky.
That's not very nice, Brian.
Wasn't. Fair enough.
The final pick.
The final boss.
To SmackDown.
What about scripts?
That's who Brett. Just side note. When we played WWE 2K24, Brett's like, Dad, I'm gonna play Roman. Dad, I'm gonna play Cody. I'm gonna go against Scripts because he's the lowest rated.
You be Scripts, Dad.
He's like barely 60. Where he plays like the mega stars at like 97,
poor
98.
Scripts.
Count as my time. So
Yeah. Sorry. buddy.
Oh shit.
That does not count against
You're
you.
Go ahead,
now
go
on
ahead.
the clock.
Go ahead.
To SmackDown. Odyssey Jones.
Ooh.
He's a name that's just been out of the spotlight for a long time.
Drafted last year to Raw.
Okay. Yeah.
I never
Never to be seen
yeah,
Weird.
that's why I left. I'm like,
in the
fuck.
graphic for the draft pool.
Bizarre. All right. I like it. All right. Joe?
To SmackDown, Gunther, the Ring General.
Okay. Like that. And then Kevin, this is the final pick.
Oh shit. Yeah.
Pressure.
it is.
This was round 10, right? Somebody's
I'm gonna
keeping
go
track. Ain't me.
let's go Damage Control Monday Night Raw.
Oh, okay. Like that a lot. that makes a lot of sense.
All
right. Well, that's gonna be so. What we'll do is then we'll see how the draft plays out on SmackDown and Raw, and then we'll see kind of how we did. Mel Kipper is calling it a night. We'll maybe get some final thoughts from him next week on.
Let's just say this: if NXT gets Seth Rollins and Jason gets no other one correct, I think he wins.
Yeah, that'll be that.
This is his Roman Reigns beat Cody Rhodes moment, like because that was like that was the rich.
What was this year?
Sammy over Gunther. Yeah. There's some precedents for it happening. So
yeah, I think if Seth goes to NXT, Jason wins the draft, even if he goes 0 for 9 with the rest of his picks.
All right, fellas, that'll do it for this week, right? And nothing else, right? All right, rock and roll. That'll be good. Then YouTube.com/That Wrestling Podcast, at That WrestlePod for social media, whatamaneuver.net for your merchandise. Next week, we'll be back with your Backlash preview and predictions, so stay tuned for that next week. And as always, enjoy wrestling.
Thanks for watching That Wrestling Podcast on YouTube. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. And for more That Wrestling Podcast content, follow at That WrestlePod on social media.